Hi everyone, welcome to Traveling Misknits. My name is Pia and I am so happy that you're joining me here today for a little chat about yarn and knitting, and this time also quite a lot of crochet. It's been a while since I last recorded a video. I lost my mom and I can still hear how every time I tell that I lost her, it sounds like a question, like, can this really be true? But it is, and I am slowly learning how to navigate a world where I'm nobody's daughter. One thing that has really helped me get through these weeks has been actually making gifts. Gift making, gift knitting, gift crocheting. So we're going to take a look at a lot of finished objects. We're going to look at my 3 current whips, and then I also have a giveaway winner to announce. So let's get into things straight away. Last time I recorded, I showed you that I was knitting on a little hat for my grandson, Victor. I finished the hat, then I blocked it and it grew out of control. It now fits me. So this goes into my Christmas pile of things that I can gift during the month of December. And I have already cast on for a new hat for Victor. I'm going to show you that right away, even though I did announce that I would show my finished objects first. But yeah, where this one had 96 stitches, this one only has 88 stitches. So I am hoping that it will make sense. I am hoping that this one is going to fit him. I am using my Chaogu bamboo needles. I love my bamboo needles. These ones are a size 3.25, just to make sure that I get a really tight gauge. And hanging on it, I also have one of the beautiful stitch markers from Ivana, the Republic of Me. She has a shop where she sells these stitch markers that she makes with resin. You will see more of them in my other whips, but I will make sure to link her shop below. The yarns that I am using, it's exactly the same as for this one because the color came out so beautifully. He wanted an orange hat. So I'm using some drops soft tweed and some drops brushed alpaca silk. And the brushed alpaca silk is much heavier than your usual silk mohair. So I am getting a relatively thick thread, and on small needles, I'm sure it's gonna be beautiful. I actually have the ball bands here. This is for the soft tweed, and it is the color number 18. And for this one, the brushed alpaca silk, it is color number 24. I really love how these two colors play together. I think that they just create the perfect autumnal and super cozy orange. So I'm very happy to be able to gift this hat later, and I am knitting away on this one. So I have a hat for little Victor. I also made a hat for his younger brother. This one I made in some Lang yarns. They have this superwash merino. Is it just called 120? I think so. I bought some blue to make a sweater for little Theodore. And I also got a little bit of green to make a hat for him. And on my last episode, I was talking about these hats and how I make them. I'm not sure I was making a whole lot of sense, but someone then later told me that actually there is a free pattern that will create a hat much like this one, with these, with the decreases up here as a little swirl. It's the Pearl Soho watch cap hat. I went to check the pattern, and even though they are working the decreases a little different from what I usually do, I am convinced, and also from the product photos, I can see that you will get a similar result. One thing I will say, when you are working with this type of decreases where you have a 2x2 ribbing and you want 5 sections to work your decreases, if your stitch count is not divisible by 20, you're in trouble, so to speak. But it's no big deal. You can easily fix it. The way I usually fix it is I just make some of the sections smaller than the others, and it is perfectly okay. It is fine, no worries. So for the one that I'm knitting for Victor right now, where I have the 88 stitches, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have, and now let me see if I can do the math. I'm gonna have 3 sections, 3 of the 5 sections, I'm gonna have 16 stitches in each, and then the 2 last sections, I'm gonna have 20 in each, and it's all gonna work out beautifully. There's no problem in doing that. Just a little tip if you wanna knit from the watch cap hat pattern. Also, one thing that I always do when I'm doing hats with a folded up brim, I always make sure, because there is always going to be one side of the cast on is going to look nicer than the other. So what I do when I cast on, I then work the first row back. I work it straight. I don't join in the round right away. I join in the round on the second row. That way I will have my less neat cast on edge on the outside as I'm knitting and as I'm working the decreases, which means that when you then go on to fold it up, the prettier side is going to show. So with those 2 modifications, you can definitely get a hat exactly like mine by using Pearl Soho's watch cap hat pattern, which is again a free pattern on their website. I also knitted a cowl for their big sister, my Isabella. She told me she wanted an off-white cowl, so I knit this for her. I think it's so pretty, and it was very easy and very fast. I picked up some Wool-ish Thick and Quick, is that what it's called? Yeah, Thick and Quick. I used 1 ball to make this cowl. Some really heavy needles. I think I used needle size 8 millimeters. I cast on 30 stitches, 29 maybe. Then on every row, I slipped the 2 last stitches. I slipped those with the yarn held in front. And for the main sections, I did this slip stitch pattern where you knit 3 and then you slip 1 with the yarn held in back. So that is gonna give you this rib-like pattern without you ever having to purl. It's super squishy. It's amazing. And also it doesn't curl up on itself, and it's really fast to work. I finished it off with a 3-needle bind off, just a thick, heavy one that can either go in the neck as I did before, or it can actually be a detail in front if you prefer that. So I am really happy to be able to give her this cowl. She just got a new winter coat, which is like a camel light beige. So she asked me if I could make her an off-white cowl. And I could. This takes no time. I mean, this could be my go-to idea for really quick gifts. I could see myself buying a couple of bowls of the Thick and Quick and just have it in stash so that if I ever need a quick gift, I could just whip up one of these, because seriously, it takes no time. And also it's fun to knit. Oh yeah, one thing I do when before I do the 3-needle bind off, obviously you can tell, I really hope you will have some patience with me. My brain is still mush, basically. I am doing my best. I hope that you will have some patience with me. And if there's anything that I skip, like this rather important step, please ask me in the comment section below. I am sure my brain is coming back any day now. Any day. Yeah, before I did the 3-needle bind off, I just twisted it, just a half twist, so that if there was a difference between front and back, you would see that one side would be the front side, the other would be the back side, just to get this little knot, half knot on the cowl, which makes it sit much nicer, allows for some space for your chin to come down. Then I knit a set for Peter. It was his birthday, and fortunately I had knit this before his birthday came up. This is actually going to be one of my Advent patterns this year. I'm going to do 3 Advent patterns. I'm going to show you everything today, just briefly. The patterns are going to come out on November 24th, so that you have time to prepare before you start using either an Advent calendar or just gathering some scraps. This year I am making my own Advent calendar. I love the idea of a little yarny gift every morning, but they can be quite expensive. So this year I'm making one for myself. Anyway, this was designed to use with an Advent calendar and the hat as well. Obviously for the hat, you don't use a lot of different colors, and I'm not going to put on this hat because it's way too big for me. It fits Peter perfectly, but it has some of the same stitch patterns that is in the cowl. This hat, I'm proud of this hat. It's knit top down, which means that if you have an amount of yarn and you're not perfectly sure if it's going to be enough, it's nice to start from the top, because then you can make the brim longer or shorter, or you can even make it 2 layers instead of the 3 that is in the pattern. So you start from the top down, and then you just knit, knit, knit around and around and around for a very, very long, very long hat. And then you fold the fabric in a way that you don't have any purl stitches anywhere. You don't have a back side to this hat. So you just fold it up so that you have all knit stitches showing on the outside and on the inside. you have 3 layers of fabric covering your ears and just 1 layer covering the crown of your head. I knit this one for Peter in some woven felted tweed. I held it double. It's a sport weight, and I held it double just to get this heavy worsted weight that I worked on relatively small needles. So this is a very, very warm hat. The woven felted tweed is alpaca wool and some viscose. I have the ball band here. This is the colorway 159. And it is, I just used some leftovers that I had for my 3rd Advent pattern, the cardigan. But I would say this yarn is really good to use with an Advent calendar because there are so many different colors within the yarn itself. So it will play nicely with almost any yarn that might be in your Advent. I'm just gonna take the cowl off so that I can show you some of the details on it. You have these stripes in different patterns, and then you have some lines going down here. You are not doing color work for these. These are crocheted on after the fact. I just like the effect of these 2 skinny stripes. Then you go into the same stitch pattern that you have on the hat, and then you finish it off with a row of little bumps, little pearly bubble bumps. And the rest is just knitting in the round. You cast on provisionally so that when you reach the desired length, you again flip it, do a half twist, and then you graft the live stitches on your needle together with the stitches from your provisional cast on. So yeah, I am very excited to be sending out these patterns on November 24. And at the same date, I'm also going to be sending out the pattern for my Christmas sweater, which is a cardigan this year. I have now for 2 years done an Advent pattern where you can use your Advent calendar for something a little, I don't know. I love my knitted and crochet blankets, but they're going to be quite expensive blankets if you make them from only Advent calendars. So I actually like the idea that you can get a garment instead. And to be able to do that in all sizes, of course, you're going to need a main color, which on this one is the woven felted tweed again. There are 2 sets of instructions in this pattern. It's coming out November 24, just like the others. There are 2 sets of instructions for this. There is one where you knit the cardigan flat and one where you knit it in the round and then steek it after the knitting is done. Just because I know that some people really hate purling and other people are super scared to steek. So I thought I'm going to include both options. This one is knit flat. I don't mind purling so much, and I had a lot of fun. I just used some leftovers, and then I used a set of minis that my good friend Bitten gifted me last year in December. She gifted me a big fistful of minis in these wonderful colors. So I used those, and then I topped it off with some of my leftover DK and fingering weight. You hold the fingering double, obviously. So yeah, I'm going to talk more about this as we get closer to the day that it's coming out. I just wanted to show you because fortunately I had finished that cardigan before my world fell apart. I don't think I would have been able to knit on a sample, on a cardigan in those horrible days. It was definitely the gift knitting, the smaller projects, and also one huge project. My mom taught me to crochet. My grandmother taught me to knit. My mom taught me to crochet. So I wanted to crochet. I wanted to sit there with my mom and my hook, and yeah. So fortunately, I had started the blanket, the granny square / granny stripe blanket that I showed you on the last episode, the one that was inspired by Michaela's wonderful podcast. I had started that. And little John was sitting there with me as I was crocheting. We always sit and talk about life or fun stuff. We do puzzles. We do all sorts of things while I knit and crochet. And he was very interested in the blanket. And then one day he asked, "Is it for me?" And I asked him, would you like it to be? "Yes, it is beautiful and amazing and awesome." It was for him, for sure. So I continued working on it, and I did record a little bit, because before we left Texas, I actually got it to a size where he's able to use it. He didn't want it any bigger, but he wanted me to make it bigger as he was growing, which I think that's just a wonderful, beautiful idea. And I will look forward to be able to work on the blanket maybe once a year or something, just making it bigger bit by bit. But yeah, to make it his, I added some Texas stars, and also I added a section, just a white section, a rectangle of half double crochet, so it was rather tight and firm compared to the rest. And on that section I then stitched what we always say to each other, John and I, "To the moon and morning." When he was smaller, I would say to him, "Oh, I love you to the moon and back," as you do. And he would say to me, "No, Grandma, to the moon and morning. You also love me when it's the morning." Which, I mean, that is true. So that's what we're saying to each other, to the moon and morning. That's what I felt should be in his blanket. I also crocheted other things. I crocheted a set of pot holders that I am so happy with these. I think they are so pretty. I love them. And they're very, very simple. I just chained 31 stitches. Then I worked back and forth in mini bean stitch. One of those mini crochet stitches that you can find on YouTube. I will try to link the tutorial that I used. Then when I got to the thing being a square, I continued to make 2 rounds of single crochets just around it. And then I added these little leather ties so that you can hang it. They are worked in a yarn that I actually thought I hated. Is it called Sugar and Cream? Like a very heavy cotton. I think it's Sugar and Cream. I bought it a while back. I tried to use it for some dishcloths. It almost killed me. It was very difficult to knit with. but it worked out fine in this stitch pattern because it is so dense, this stitch. I could go up on a larger needle. I could, there you go. I could actually crochet it at a more open gauge and still get a pot holder that was secure to use. So I really enjoyed that. I got them both from one bowl and there was even some left. So I'm definitely making more of these. They took me one night to make and I had a lot of fun. I've also been crocheting, and you can see I really needed something comforting between my hands, right? I also crocheted some little softies for my little one. A chicken, so cute. A free pattern on a blog that I am blanking on the blog name right now, but I am gonna put it in the description box below because this was so quick, so easy and simple to work up, and I think it is adorable. I did a Loaf cat. How cute is he? I mean, you gotta love this little thing. Absolutely no sewing. You make this in one go. You add the ears and the legs and everything as you go. It is so quick, so easy to whip up. Just remember to add the safety eyes when the pattern tells you to add the safety eyes. This is just, of course, random example, but if someone were to forget to add the safety eyes until they were ready to close it up, it would be really fiddly to place them. But yeah, it is so cute. It is so cute. And I also made one exactly the same pattern, just a thinner yarn to get me a smaller cat. They're adorable. I love Loaf cats. Again, a free pattern from another blog. Also blanking on the name of this blog, but description box. The description box is going to be my savior this week, I guess. And even a little octopus. I have no idea if the camera is even focusing. It looks like it is. There you go. And this is the same for this one. You make it in one go. You add the tentacles as you work through the body. So fun, so quick, so easy. And I know that the little ones are just gonna love it. I do have plans to make 3 of each because I have 3 grandchildren here in Denmark. And I know that if I gift a Loaf cat to one of them, the other 2 are going to be, what? So I'm going to make 2 more octopuses, octopuses. I don't know, 2 more. And 1 more Loaf cat. Probably also 2 more of the chicken. Going through these crochet blogs, it's a world of generosity out there, people. It's amazing what you can find. Yeah, I could crochet for the rest of my life and probably not make it through the whole thing. But yeah, all of this has been a great comfort for me. Making for someone else made me think about the person that I was making for. It took my mind off my own sadness, if even for a while. It brought me a lot of joy, a lot of comfort, and I am so grateful for this craft or these crafts. I mean, if I was working with wood or with glass, if I was a sculptor, I would have to isolate, to take myself away from everyone else to work on my thing. But with knitting and crochet, you can be right smack in the middle of things, together with your loved ones, sharing memories, sharing your sadness, sharing your joy, and still be doing something, still have the comfort of something woolly in your hands. I'm very grateful for that. I have only 3 whips. One of them I already showed you, the hat for Victor. The next one is actually something also that I have shown. It is an advent cowl, one more advent cowl, this one for me. I found some rustic wool, rustic merino that I dyed myself this summer. Some of you might recall my yarn dyeing extravaganza over the summer. Also, this one has stitch markers from Havana. I love these things. This one actually marks the midway, the halfway point of the cowl. Yeah. Again, using scraps, a little more colorful for me. Where Peter is more subdued, I have added some color. I really enjoy this. It's such a fun project because it's quick. In the beginning, it's interesting. First, you play with color and color placement, which is always fun. Then you get into the special stitches, which is super interesting. And after that, you have loads of simple, mindless, comforting knitting in the round. So I am enjoying this immensely. This is what sits with me in the couch in the evenings. And then, of course, I have my sock. I have my sock going. I actually finished 1 sock tube. Whoa, what? I made the tube 62 stitches around and 100 rounds from the end of the ribbing and to the beginning of the toe. That is going to give me a relatively short sock, which is what I prefer. It's just personal preference. And I have started the second sock. I had to start it with all this driving around that we've had. It's been nice to have a sock to bring with me. And we have our giveaway from last episode where I announced that I would be giving away a skein of this sock yarn because I love it so much myself. I think it knits up so beautifully. So I asked the comment picker for a winning comment on the last episode, and this was it. I'm going to post it here. If this is indeed your comment, please get in touch either on Instagram, where I am misknits.dk, or via email. My email address is in the show notes. Congratulations, Anita. I hope to hear from you soon so I can get the skein out to you. I'm sure you're going to love it. For sure, I do. That was it for the creative content this week. It feels like it just flew by. When I was preparing to record, I was looking at all of these things and I was thinking, no. There is no way I'm going to make it through all of this without falling apart or crying or my brain turning into mush. Well, it did a couple of times and the crying came close. But all in all, it wasn't half bad. I am so grateful for all of you. It has been wonderful sitting down, talking about knitting and crochet, sharing with wonderful friends. Thank you so much for being there. It really means the world to me. I hope that you will have a wonderful week. My plan is to come back next week with another episode. So until we talk again, stay happy, stay safe. Remember the ones you love and keep knitting.